Hello, my dear students. Myself, Mrs. Dipali Jori from Kekewak Polytechnic, Nasik. Welcome you all in this online lecture or the video of basic mathematics. In this video, we will discuss about the topic matrices. This is the first video of topic matrices. So today we will discuss about the different types of matrices. So before going further again, let's first see what are the learning outcomes of this video. The learning outcome of this video is understand all the types of matrices. So let's first see what is the definition of order, matrix of order m by n. A rectangular arrangement of m by n elements. This is called by. You have already studied the order of determinants. Same like that, it's a m by n. It's an order of that matrix. So a rectangular arrangement of m by n elements in m rows, rows means horizontal lines, and n columns, vertical lines, enclosed between two square brackets is called a matrix of order m by n. So a matrix is usually denoted by any capital letter. You can select any one. So here I have selected capital A. So this is the matrix of order m by n. See, let's see the elements of the matrix. This is your first element A11. It is denoted by A12, then A13, up to where we have to write A1n. Why up to A1n? See, it's a matrix of order m by n. It's a rectangular arrangement. Every time you remember, in matrix, number of rows and number of columns can be different. Whereas in determinants, rows and columns should be same. The determinant chapter we have already studied. Okay, in determinants, rows and columns should be same. But that is not the case here. In matrix, number of rows and columns can be different. So we can arrange the elements in rectangular array. So A11, then A12, A13, A1n, A21, A22 up to A2n. Now let me tell you what are the suffixes means. In the suffix also, suffix position elements also, remember that your first element is for row, second element is for column, the position of that element. So this element A11, it belongs to first row and first column. The first number is for row, second number is for column. Next, it belongs to first row and it belongs to second column. This is your first row, second column. Okay. Then third element of the first row and third column it belongs to. So it is denoted by A13. The suffixes defines the position of that element. So the element belongs to first row and third column. Up to where we have to write? See the last element of the first row, and it is in the nth column, because the order itself tells us that there are m rows. First number is always for row, second number is always for column. So there should be m rows and n columns in your m by n matrix. So this is that nth column. Hence the suffix of that last element is A1n. It should be 1n. It is at first row and at nth column. Similarly, you can write for the remaining elements. See the element is at second row, first column, second row, second column, this one, and so on. The last element is at second row and at nth column. Let's go at the last row. This is your mth row. Okay, up to where we have to write m rows. So mth row, but the column is first. So the last element is denoted by AM1. Mth row, second column AM2, mth row, third column AM3, and the last one is AMN, because the element belongs to mth row and it is at nth column. Okay, so this way you have to denote or arrange the elements of m by n matrix. Now here you have to remember, matrix cannot be expanded. we cannot expand it, we cannot find out its value. Okay, so in all the examples of matrices, your answer will be finally as a matrix only. Next, second point you have to remember that in matrix, number of rows and columns can be unequal. They may be equal, but they can be unequal also. Okay, so hope the matrix is clear to all of you. The definition is clear to all of you. Let's go further. Let's see what are the different types of matrices. Rectangular matrix is the first type. Rectangular matrix means what? If the number of rows and columns are unequal. M is not equal to N. So what does it mean? M not equal to N. So how we can define that rectangular matrix? A matrix with number of rows and columns unequal is called rectangular matrix. Let's see example. So this is an example, a matrix A of order 2 by 3. Every time remember that whenever you write that matrix, do write its order. Okay. So this is a matrix of order 2 by 3, means how many rows should be there? There should be 2 rows and 3 columns. Number of rows, number of columns. So these are the 2 rows and 3 columns. You can write the elements as you wish, as you want. So 1 minus 2, 3, 4, 1, 5. It's a 2 by 3 matrix. Rows and columns are unequal, so this is a rectangular matrix. One more example we can consider, a matrix, any matrix of order 3 by 2. 3 rows, 2 columns, again the rows and columns are unequal. See, these are the 3 rows and 2 columns. Fine, so it's a rectangular matrix once again. Now in rectangular matrices, there are again subparts. The one is row matrix. Very simple it is. Row matrix means a matrix with single row is called row matrix. A matrix having single row means a matrix of order 1 by 1, or it can be a matrix of order 1 by 2 or 1 by 3. At diploma level, we have to write or we have to study up to 3 by 3 only. Okay, we will not study 4 by 4, 1 by 4. We will not consider number of rows and or number of columns equal to 4 here. At diploma level, we will consider up to 3 only. Okay, so I have considered the examples likewise. So this is the example 1 by 1 matrix. Only 1 row, 1 column is there. 1 by 2, single row, 2 columns. 1 by 3, it can be 2 minus 3, 5. Single row again, but 3 columns. So all these matrices are row matrices. Okay. Next example, next type is another type of rectangular matrix is a column matrix. A matrix with single column. Same like row matrix, single row, whereas in column matrix, single column. So matrix with single column is called column matrix. Again, any matrix of order 1 by 1 is a column matrix. It's a row matrix, also it's a column matrix. Okay, both can be possible here. Next, 8 to 1, single column, but there are 2 rows. So what is the order? It's a 2 by 1 matrix. You have to consider single column only for column matrices. So 1 column, but there are 2 rows. Next, 3 by 1 also we can consider 3 rows, single column. So 3 by 1 matrix is called column matrix. In matrices, you just have to remember the orders. If you are able to write, then matrix is very simple. Next type of matrix is, the second type is, first was rectangular matrix. The second type is now square matrices. What is mean by square matrix or square matrices? Number of rows and columns are equal. M is equal to N. So if the number of rows and columns are equal, the matrix is called as square matrix. A matrix with equal number of rows and columns is called square matrix. For example, we can consider a matrix of order 2 by 2. 1 by 1 also you can consider. But I have considered the 2 by 2 and 3 by 3 matrix here. 2 rows, 3 columns. 3 rows and 3 columns. Number of rows and columns equal. The matrix is called square matrix. Now the subtypes of square matrices are, the one is diagonal matrix. A square matrix, diagonal matrix should be first of all a square matrix. So a square matrix in which all non-diagonal elements are 0 is called diagonal matrix. So first of all, it should be a square matrix, means rows and columns should be equal. Rows and columns should be equal. So let us consider 2 by 2 and 3 by 3 matrix. So what is that additional condition? If all non-diagonal elements are 0 in a square matrix, all non-diagonal elements. What is diagonal element first of all? This is your principal diagonal. So principal diagonal and non-diagonal elements. Okay. So if these two elements are zero, the matrix is called as diagonal matrix. In 3 by 3 you can understand it well. So this is your diagonal, principal diagonal or main diagonal or leading diagonal it is called. So other than this, if all the elements are equal to 0, these are called non-diagonal elements. 3 and these 3. If these 6 elements are 0, all should be 0, that you have to remember. So all non-diagonal elements are 0, then the matrix is called diagonal matrix. Okay. If any one of them is non-zero, still the matrix will not be diagonal matrix. They all should be 0. Second type of square matrix is scalar matrix. Scalar, a diagonal matrix in which all diagonal elements are equal. Now this is a scalar matrix. So a matrix to be a scalar matrix, first of all, it should be a diagonal matrix. Okay, so it should be first of all a diagonal matrix. Then the additional condition is that all diagonal elements are equal. So let us consider a diagonal matrix first of all. What is meant by diagonal matrix? Non-diagonal elements 0 in square matrix. Non-diagonal elements should be 0 in square matrix. So these two are first of all diagonal matrices. Other than that, if the additional condition, what is the additional condition? All diagonal elements equal. So this is that diagonal. If the diagonal elements are equal, that diagonal matrix is called scalar matrix. Diagonal elements are equal, the matrix is called scalar matrix. Okay. Non-diagonal all should be 0. It should be first of all a square matrix and the diagonal elements 0. So equal. Then the matrix is called as scalar matrix. Let's see the next type. Identity matrix. This is the third type of square matrix. Identity matrix, or it is also called as unit matrix. So identity matrix, again it should be a first of all a scalar matrix. You remember the sequence: square, then diagonal, then scalar, and then identity. Okay, they all are interrelated. So identity matrix means what? A scalar matrix in which all diagonal elements are equal to 1. Okay, see the matrix in which diagonal elements are equal to 1. Diagonal elements are equal to 1. Non-diagonal should be 0, 0, 0. Okay, then this matrix is called as unit matrix or identity matrix. Now remember that unit matrix or identity matrix is always denoted by capital I. So it's a matrix of order 2 by 2. So you can denote it by I2 just. It's a matrix of order 3 by 3. So we can denote, or you can denote it by I3 just. Fine. Now the third type of matrix is zero matrix or null matrix. A matrix with all the elements is 0. It's called null matrix. All elements 0. Okay. It's called null matrix. So these are the types of matrices. Here we'll stop. Hope the types are clear to all of you. Thank you. If you have any doubt, you can text me.